Glen and Cliff friendship is at stake, and so is Lateshia and Glen marriage. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking Belle Collective Season 7 premiere Episode 1. We are going to run through and give a little recap and review, so let's get into it. The show opens up with Lateshia interviewing Lateshia Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Both ladies look beautiful. Apparently, Lateshia Pearson of Belle Collective is starting her own talk show called the Lateshia Pearson Show. Very interesting. I feel like every season we see Lateshia with new businesses and then we never see them again. I'm like, where is this show going to be airing, girl? Where can I watch? Where can I tune in? I hope this is not just another endeavor and a storyline for the show. So, yes, Lateshia, let us know where we're going to be able to watch this. Is there an episode 2, episode 3? Like, what is going on? But Lateshia is launching her own talk show, baby. And her first guest is Lateshia Scott. So the ladies talk about marriage, love, business, everything in between. Um, and after the show wraps, they end up having a conversation about being housewives, being moms, being wives. And Lateshia pretty much expresses that Glenn just wants her to stay at home, stay at the house, and that she's having a hard time trying to explain to him, I can do it all. I can be a wife, I can be a mom, and I can also be a businesswoman who loves myself and pours into myself and follows my dreams. Lateshia gives her advice and basically says, hey, you need to just let Glenn know how you feel. Let him know, what's going on in your heart, how you're feeling, and what you pretty much want out of your life. So it's interesting to see that conversation with a cute little opener. As I said, curious to see if we're going to see more of this talk show, if it shows up anywhere else. But yes. Before that, the season had like some little flash screen openers of them in the confessionals. And in the confessionals, they're kind of talking smack to each other. Latrice seems very over that friendship with Lateshia. I'm curious to see how that plays out this season because she's given a lot of digs to her and Marie, and I don't really see Lateshia giving the same type of digs. So, yeah, they kind of opened the show with that. All the ladies were coming in to sit down and film their confessional looks. And then we move on to Lateshia doing her first interview for her talk show. Last comment on that scene with Lateshia, I just feel like Lateshia seems scared to leave Glenn. I don't know if it's a financial stability thing, building financial stability and being financially stable. She keeps talking about that and just building financial stability, being financially stable and wanting to be able to stand on her own 2 feet without him, that she's never really saved. I know the first time her and Glenn separated, she talked about not having anything and having to stay with friends and family. I would hope by now that after her being on the show for 3 seasons, talking about she's a notary, a bail bondsman, she doing trucking with Glenn, she doing houses with Marie, brunches, that she would have something stashed to the side by now. Girl, free yourself. Free yourself from that man. When we get to the therapy session, you'll see why I'm saying that. So then we see Marie and her daughter. They have a cute scene. Marie's daughter is so cute. Beautiful girl. So they have a scene where Marie is talking to her daughter about Cedric, basically saying that she invited him back into their life, but now she has ended the relationship. And Marie's daughter really did not seem pressed. She didn't seem heartbroken. She also was sharing that she was pissed that he showed up to her game and didn't let her know. I think it was her game or her practice. So Marie's daughter is really giving me, you mommy, you should have never took that man back, no way. And y'all don't need to be together, no way. That is the vibes that I'm getting from that. I also don't know why Marie left that German white man, Martin, last season to get back with Cedric, who's a known cheater, who has already betrayed you and showed you who he is several times. But that is beyond me. I had to snickle and giggle when Marie said she found his email open on her laptop where she saw messages from his ex that he was supposed to cut off when they were getting back together. And I guess her ex Cedric never did. So she found text messages, all types of things, Marie said. And I just kept thinking to myself, Marie, you are doing some great acting because in this confessional, I'm not seeing one tear falling. Not one tear falling in the scene with your daughter or in the confessional. So that was a key to me. Marie is funny, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. I still remember this lady cooking in that man tacky home, cooking that breakfast, not a white refrigerator, in the words of Nene. So, Marie and Cedric are no longer together. That's a closed case. He never cut off the woman that he was talking to the first time they broke up. And he got back with Marie and kept that relationship going. So that kind of lets us know where Cedric stands with Marie, which makes me really wonder, was that a storyline last season? We'll have to see how the season goes. We see Carrie and her husband. They're looking for venues. Carrie is going to host a 90s themed Love Jones birthday party. She wants to also do poetry and have all of that there, really giving a 90s vibe. So they go to a tea restaurant. I thought that was really cute. I think Carrie knew she wasn't going to pick that place, but I feel like she did it to promote her friend's business, which was called Sipsy Tea. And again, I love when we get to see Black owned businesses getting promoted. So that was really cute. Carrie and her husband talk about the fact that her Mobile, Alabama location of Brick and Spoon, which is her restaurant, is not going well and that she's just stressed. Carrie's stressed. The economy is bad. People probably not eating out as much, saving money, cooking at home. Food is high. And the location is just not doing well with foot traffic, it sounds like. So Carrie is stressed. She's trying to figure it out and she doesn't want to fail. She makes it clear that I don't like to fail. And so this being a failure is like a chip on her shoulder, it hits her ego. So we will see how Carrie's businesses pan out. But her and her husband make a beautiful couple. So love to see them. And I really like Carrie as a new addition as a new Belle. So I'm excited to see more of her and her storyline. Oh my God. So we get to Glen and Lateshia having a therapy scene with their family friend slash counselor, who's like a godfather to Glenn, who's known them for the past 20 years, or he's known Glenn for the past 20 years. Immediately, red flag for me. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Why are y'all meeting with someone who knows the both of y'all knows the ins and outs of you? You need to be meeting with somebody who doesn't know neither of you, that can come in with a little bit more of no bias. Call in Dr. Francis immediately. I will even take the relationship couple from Love and Marriage Huntsville who was doing Kimmy and Maurice. This is just crazy to me. And that man don't give no good advice because they did a flashback scene to 3 years ago when he was having the same conversation with Glenn and Lateshia. They seen him again in 2020, whenever they filmed this, 2025, and ain't much has changed. Wrap this storyline up flat screen. Letitia, I'm tired of seeing this trash on the TV. I'm tired of it. It just feels either performative or either you need to muster up the strength, get your bag in order, and walk away because you don't seem happy. And I feel like the more and more Glenn opens his mouth, he just shows us he really doesn't want this lady to leave him. And I feel like he uses finances and the fact that he knows one of her insecurities is being financially stable as a way to keep her trapped in this marriage. So let's get into the therapy session. Um, Glenn kicks it off by saying, Miss Independent showed back up. And now that Miss Independent has showed back up, our relationship is struggling because how can she be this independent lady and still be dependent on a man? I ain't never seen it. What? Okay. The counselor then says to Glenn, so you feel like your wife loving herself, taking care of herself, she can't love herself, be independent, and be self sufficient, and also make room to love you even more? Glenn said, I got to see it. I said, wow. So what have we been watching all these seasons? This is a mess. This marriage is a mess. Um, Glenn pretty much says he doesn't think Letitia can love herself and love him too. He's a traditional man and he wants a housewife. He wants her at home. And he feels like home is her last priority. He wants Letitia barefoot in the house, cooking, taking care of him, washing his clothes, and focused on Glenn and the family. And if she can't focus on that, he just don't see how she can even play the role as his wife. Are we in the 1800s? Glenn, we're in the 2020s. You need to grow up. Get with the times, babe. We're not in the 1800s. Women have rights. They have free will. They have independence. They can do what they want to do. That whole therapy session really pissed me off. Um, he was Also saying in his confessional, he feels like Letitia working, having independence, having her own money, focused on building her own empire is a way for her to leave him. I said, big yikes, red flag number two, which ties back to my earlier point on the financial stability. I feel like he knows that that's probably something that scared her the first time she left in like season one or season two. And so I think because he knows that, and it sounds like he does make more money or has more stable income depending on the job he does. I don't know if he still works for the oil rig. He knows that scares her. So I feel like he knows as if she becomes independent, that won't be something to hold her there. And that's why I said also earlier, I feel like I can't understand if Letitia's in the marriage for convenience. I do feel like she loves Glenn, but it's also like I've been with Glenn since high school, and as a teenager, he's all I know. He's what's safe. He's also what's convenient. So even if I'm scared and I want to leave, I'm not gonna leave because it's Glenn, and I know Glenn, and I know what to expect with Glenn. And that makes me sad for her. I'm just like, Letitia, that makes me really sad for you because you deserve so much more. You deserve so much more better, so much better, and so much more in your life. The fact that this man thinks that you being independent, you growing, you bossing up means that you have to love him less is crazy. She says in the therapy session, I feel like sometimes me loving myself makes Glenn feel like I love him less. My God, today. And to make the therapy session even better, the therapist ends with, you know, y'all gonna have to meet in the middle. Y'all gotta work it out. As long as y'all both on these opposite sides and can't come to common ground, it ain't never gonna work. And then says to them, but you know what? At the end of the day, I still see a strong couple. I still see a really strong couple. A strong couple. You had to explain to this man that his wife can do all things and still be a wife and pour into him and love him. And you still, sir, they flash back to 3 years ago, 2022. You were still saying the same thing. Not much has changed. That scene, like I said, was just tragic, very tragic to watch. Even Letitia says in her confessional she wants to leave. I really think as much as I'm, kind of tugging on her wig, I really feel like there's a part of her that I just see like this fear. It's sad. This is not no good storyline. Letitia, take this off my TV screen. I don't want to see you and Glenn no more about your marriage problems because this isn't even a marriage. This is like a mess. And if Glenn is so traditional, then why you keep going out there talking to other women, flirting with other women, and allegedly maybe even stepping out on your wife? Make that make sense. Moving right along. So Latrice had a blood clot, y'all. Latrice and Cliff have a meetup at Taste, and they were talking about her going to the ER. She had a blood clot in her leg. She was in the hospital for like 4 days or whatever, something like that. And, she's doing better now. She's out, but it was really a health scare. Lord, Latrice, I'm so glad you're happy. Latrice is young. She's still like mid 30s. I'm surprised that she had a blood clot. That's really sad. I'm glad nothing tragic happened. And I'm glad she's doing better. Her restaurant is still looking good. She was doing a little staff meeting that was funny with her talking about the outfits, and her head manager of the restaurant was like, "Them outfits is ugly." Um, the main thing in that scene was Cliff misses his friend. He told her, "You and Letitia need to fix it because I miss my man. Okay, I ain't been able to see my man, Glenn, and y'all need to fix this relationship. Do it and do it quick." And Latrice basically said, F Glenn, F that relationship you have with Glenn, and F Letitia. She is not here for it. Like, Latrice is not fooling with the bells. She wants no parts. Um, we also get introduced to Shantae. Shantae is a new cast member this season. She's not a Belle. She's a friend of Letitia. It's her best friend of 20 plus years. So we see her at Letitia's shooting for her pilot of her talk show. We see her at the house where Marie and Letitia catch up about their men and all of the things. And, Shantae seems cool. I like her personality so far. It definitely seems like she's coming in with a chip on her shoulder to defend her friend, her bestie, Letitia. She made some comments like, y'all better show up and show out, you know. So I definitely feel like she's coming for a Belle herself. We'll have to stay tuned and see how she pans out on the show. So the show ends. The first episode ends at Carrie's birthday party. Carrie has a poet there, one of her friends, who does a nice poem for her. I thought that was so cute. And he's also writing poetry. So if you tell him things about yourself and give him some descriptions, he will write a poem for you. So I thought that was really unique. We saw Selena's man Mike read a poem to her. That was really cute. It took me out. I was cackling in my house when she said that man don't even write down a question. Mike barely speaks. So she said the fact that he wrote a poem, Selena was over the moon. Over the moon and around the sun. So Carrie tries to get into Marie business. She like, what's the tea with you and Cedric? Tell it to me plain. Are y'all together or y'all not? And I'm like, Carrie, calm down. You and Marie just became friends this season. Relax. Ease into this thing, girl. She ain't coming to no party to tell you about no Cedric. Y'all ain't even that close yet. Relax. Okay? Um, Shantae is there, the best friend. Lateshia brings her as his plus one. Lateshia sees Glen at the party. You know, she's acting funny with Glen, acting like that's her homeboy, giving all weird mixed signals. Carrie and everybody's picking up on it. So the last scene is Glen reads his poem that he wrote for Lateshia. And basically, at the end of his poem, he says a bunch of stuff. In previous seasons, Glenn has talked about how much he loved her. He's always doing apologies every season, asking for his wife back, how much he can't live without her, blase, 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 blah. So this poem, just put all of that from the rap last season or whenever he did that rap and put it into this poem, and that's what you're going to get. So at the end of the poem, he says, do you love me? You know, I hope you still love me. And Letitia's just sitting there in silence with her drink, looking around like she's confused. She's lost. She has no idea what's going on. And I said, my God, today, this is a mess. We don't know if she says, I love you. The cast is looking crazy. Everybody's looking like, what the hell is going on? And it ends there. So it ends on a cliffhanger. We don't know if she said, I love you. He looking nervous. He talking about, I hope she loves me. In his confessional, does she love me? Like, so you really don't love me no more? Letitia and Glenn, stop playing in my face. Stop playing with us. This is season 7. I'm tired. I'm really tired. And Letitia, you can't really be empowering women when you sitting up here with a man who literally telling you you being independent is a hindrance to your marriage. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag on the play. A hot mess. Crazy. That whole therapy session was a bunch of delusional BS. You're in danger, girl. Run away from that man. He's probably holding you back from you reaching your higher potential. Not saying that I would like to see marriages break up, not saying that I don't want to see happy couples, but this is 7 seasons, so it's probably been 7 years. We're seeing the same thing and nothing's changed. This is the same man that you claimed almost had a kid on you that you had to get DNA tested on the reunion. It's time to go. Okay? And for those of you who don't know or haven't watched Belle Collective, last season, Letitia's husband was accused by Latrice's friend. So Latrice and Letitia were friends, they're not anymore. Of Latrice's best friend, Amanda, said that Glenn was texting her and that they were dancing at Taste, Latrice's restaurant, and having inappropriate, dances and hugging up on each other in text. Cut the cord, mama. Letitia, I want so much more for you. Marie, stop playing with me with Cedric too. We hear what the streets are saying allegedly. Stop this. Stop this. I don't want to see this no more. Um, so that wraps up episode 1. I thought the premiere was cute. It was good. I did get some laughs between Cliff and the party and Cliff and Glenn. And Cliff is funny. He's another fool too, but sometimes he can be funny to watch. So that concludes this recap. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment. What was your favorite scenes? What was your favorite parts? What do you guys think about Glenn and Letitia's marriage? What do you guys think about the bromance between Cliff and Glenn? Do you think that they should still be able to be friends despite the wives? Let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Bye.